Unveil the hidden truths of your soul, discover the sacred path to wholeness. I never expected a single dream to change everything. It started as a whisper, a flicker of something more, tugging at my heart. One cold night, under the dim glow of my bedside lamp, I sat cross-legged in silence, feeling a weight in my chest. The energy in the room felt thick, almost electric, like a storm brewing just beneath the surface. I could sense a shift in the air, a call from deep inside. But what was it? My thoughts raced. I had spent so long in search of answers. Each day felt repetitive, like I was treading water in a vast ocean, my arms heavy, my breath shallow. I stared out the window, watching the trees sway rhythmically under the moonlight. Their branches danced like fingers beckoning me, whispering secrets I desperately wanted to understand. I closed my eyes, trying to meditate, but doubts surged through my mind like daggers. Suddenly, in the midst of my chaos, a dream shattered the quiet. I found myself standing at the edge of a dark forest, the trees looming like ancient guardians. The air was thick with magic, and an owl hooted nearby, its sound echoing deeply within me. I felt small, yet inexplicably powerful. As I stepped forward, the ground pulsed under my feet, alive with an energy I had never experienced. I was being called, a voice, soft yet commanding, urging me to cross a threshold I had always feared. Around me, shadows flickered, darting between the trees, teasing my senses. I could feel eyes watching me, but I couldn't see their faces. Was I being guided or led astray? I shivered, a mixture of excitement and fear coursing through my veins. My heart raced, the thumping echoed in my ears, drowning out the whispers. Should I turn back to the comfort of the known? Or push deeper, towards the heart of the mystery? In that moment, I realized this was bigger than me. Something ancient lay ahead. The forest held secrets that could either heal or harm, and I was teetering on the edge. What if I found the truth? Or worse, what if I didn't? My journey had begun, but the questions hovered like fog in the air. What awaited me in that darkness? What significance lay in the whispers of the trees? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The call from the depths of the forest tugged at me like a lighthouse beam cutting through the darkness. As I stood poised on that precipice, I felt the urge to embrace the enigma ahead, to embrace the unknown. The world I had known seemed a distant memory, fading like the dusk sky into a vibrant twilight where all things were possible. As I stepped past the threshold, the forest enveloped me. The air was thick with the scent of earth and pine, and the moonlight filtered through the leaves, casting a mosaic of shadows on the ground. Each careful step felt like a dance with fragments of a hidden truth I could barely grasp. The whispering trees resonated with an energy that beckoned my soul, and I strained to listen closer, hoping to decode the secrets they whispered in ancient tongues. Suddenly, I was drawn to a faint glow shimmering between two trees, pulsing like the heartbeat of the universe. Intrigued, I approached cautiously, my heart thundering in anticipation. What seemed to be mere foliage shifted into the shape of a small, luminous portal. It seemed both inviting and foreboding. Just as I reached out, a low, melodious voice emerged from the shadows. "Do you seek answers?" it asked, reverberating through the air like a sacred chant. I turned to see an ethereal figure cloaked in silvery light, her eyes glimmering like the stars. Was she a guardian of this realm? A spirit of the forest? "I am Elara," she said softly, "and this is a place where hearts unravel and wisdom converges. The dreams that brought you here are mere echoes of the truth that resides within you." Truth? I echoed, feeling the weight of her words. Every forest holds fragments of soul's journeys, a reflection of their quests for understanding, she continued. Do you dare to uncover that which you fear? The question hung in the air as I pondered what lay hidden in my heart, the regrets, the unanswered hopes, the burdens I had carried. Could I face them? I don't know, I stammered, uncertainty swirling in my chest. What if I'm not ready? Elara stepped closer, radiating calm and light. To shy away is to remain in the shadows. But to face it, to allow those fragments to emerge, is the path to wholeness. Every step forward is a stroke of courage against the canvas of your soul. Taking a deep breath, I stepped into the light of the portal. As I crossed into the radiant glow, images began to flood my mind, moments of joy, sorrow, and fleeting glances of the life I had lived. I felt the presence of past selves, their pain and joy intertwining with my own. Each vision brought forth a wave of emotions that surged through me, threatening to crumble the walls I'd built to protect my heart. Through the tempest of feelings, Elara's voice echoed louder, embrace them. They are shadows woven into the fabric of your being. One memory emerged vividly, a scene of me as a child, laughing with abandon in a sunlit meadow. But even that joyful moment was chased by a darker shadow, my anxiety and the expectation to be perfect as adulthood drew near. Why do I still hold on to this fear? I questioned aloud, seeking her guidance as tears fogged my vision. Fear is a tether, a false keeper of your essence, she replied gently. It serves to protect, but it can also ensnare. The freedom you seek lies beyond its grasp. The shimmering light pulsed in harmony with our conversation, filling me with warmth and understanding. The chaotic weight of my doubts slowly began to lift, replaced by the fragile yet exhilarating notion of acceptance. I was beginning to understand that each piece of Mebeth, the light and the shadow, was part of a greater tapestry. Just then, the portal flickered, and a haunting sound like the rustling of 1,000 wings echoed through the forest. The shimmering light began to dim, urging me to decide. Should I remain and learn more, or step back into the world outside? With this newfound realization, as the moment hung suspended, I felt a frisson of hope mixed with uncertainty. The journey to uncovering truth was not merely about finding answers, it was about embracing every aspect of my existence. What if there were still more mysteries waiting in the shadows? What if the layers of my soul held even deeper secrets? As I drifted back into contemplation, the forest continued to whisper, and I realized this journey was only just beginning. What would I uncover if I chose to continue deeper within? Would I finally unveil the truths of my own soul, or would the mysteries only deepen? The silence that followed my return from the portal echoed through the forest, wrapping around me like a tender embrace. The scent of damp earth was rich and alive, filled with an electric charge of infinite possibilities. I felt a pull in my chest toward the heart of the woods, as though some part of the landscape resonated with an unspoken truth, eager for me to discover it. Elara, I whispered into the endless twilight, hoping she would hear me. What lies ahead? Her presence lingered like the taste of honey on my lips, sweet yet elusive. Suddenly, the path before me shifted, revealing a winding way adorned with luminescent flowers blooming in shades of blue and violet colors I had never seen before in any earthly garden. Intrigued and oddly comforted, I stepped forward, the anticipation stirring once more within me. With each step, the air grew thicker, not with malice but with possibility. Shadows danced among the trunks of looming trees, and I realized I was no longer alone. Figures flickered at the edges of my vision, ephemeral beings woven from moonlight and shadow, their forms both familiar and alien. They seemed to sway to a rhythm only they could hear, a melody woven from the very fabric of the forest itself. What are you? I murmured, filled with a mixture of wonder and trepidation. One of the figures, more defined than the rest, stepped forward, shimmering with compassion. Its face was soft but expressive, an embodiment of the forest's spirit. We are the keepers of echoes, it said, its voice like a gentle breeze rustling through leaves. We oversee the threads of stories untold, memories yet to unfold within your heart. Memories? I echoed, captivated by the weight of its words. Can you guide me to mine? A chorus of whispers surrounded me as the other figures nodded in unison. To understand your journey, you must first walk the paths you have traversed, said the keeper. But be warned, child of the light, some paths lead to shadows, and not all memories reveal ease. Apprehension tingled in my stomach, yet a flame of curiosity ignited within me. What memories awaited? What truths lingered locked behind the gates of my heart? As the keepers began to weave their dance, I could feel the motion guiding me deeper into the realm of forgotten echoes. With every step, I began to see moments of my life unfold like petals unfurling to greet the dawn. Each memory shimmered, fragments of forgotten laughter and muted cries spiraling through the air like leaves caught in a gentle whirlwind. I witnessed myself at pivotal crossroads, unsaid goodbyes, choices made, roads not taken. Some scenes brought smiles while others threatened sorrow, and I found myself haunted by the weight of possibilities. Why do I keep returning to these moments? I wondered aloud, confusion threading through my mind. I have moved forward, why linger in the past? The past is a mosaic of you, the keeper replied, its eyes glistening with ancient wisdom. To embrace your future, you cannot deny what has shaped you. Each decision weaves into your today, and acknowledging them is a step toward understanding. It is all part of your sacred path. The forest responded to my dawning realization. A symphony of rustling leaves and distant calls filled the air, a reminder that all was interconnected, a unity shared across time and space. Hope fluttered in my heart as I reached out toward the memories, feeling their forms brush against my fingertips, the warmth of acceptance embracing me. But even amidst this beauty, a whisper of doubt stirred. What shadows would emerge from those events? And if I acknowledged every shard of my past, would I become overwhelmed by the weight of it? The forest seemed to shift around me, sensing my hesitance. As if reading my thoughts, the keeper gestured to the depths of the forest. To find wholeness, you must surrender to the journey. Each unveiling shall yield freedom. Do you wish to tread further, to engage with the darkness within? You choose your pace. The weight of their offer settled upon my shoulders like a mantle of both dread and possibility. Each step deeper into the heart of this woodland realm felt momentous, a choice that could change everything. The allure of hidden truths pushed against the fabric of my caution. What if the very answers I sought lay shrouded in the dark corners of pain? Would facing those shadows ignite even more light within me, or would I be consumed by them? With this uncertainty, I stood at yet another precipice, once again poised at the edge of the unknown. The journey whispered beneath the moonlight, echoing my own silent query: could I step into my own history, embrace both light and dark, and ultimately find a path to my truest self? Would that path lead to healing or to deeper, unanswered mysteries still echoing within my soul? With a steadying breath, I took a step forward, the soft ground beneath me welcoming my weight. The shimmering figures twirled around me, their ethereal forms weaving the threads of the forest into the fabric of my soul. The luminescent blooms pulsed gently as though they thrummed with anticipation, urging me deeper into the embrace of the woods. As I moved onward, the shadows grew denser, twisting into intricate shapes, alive with whispers of the past. The trees towered above me, their gnarled branches intertwined like ancient fingers clasping the air. I could almost taste the tension, the stories withheld, some begging to be told, while others cowered like frightened children. Then a sudden clarity sparked within me, illuminating the path ahead. I realized that the shadows were not something to be feared but rather companions on this journey, clues to a greater understanding of myself. I could feel the keeper's energy guiding me towards something significant, an alchemical convergence of light and dark. A sound caught my attention, a low thrum resonating from somewhere deep within the thicket. Curious, I pressed forward, weaving my way through silvered foliage until I arrived at a clearing bathed in an otherworldly glow. At the center stood a stone altar, engraved with intricate symbols that pulsated with a rhythm akin to a heartbeat. "Here lies the Heartstone," said the keeper, gliding alongside me. "It is a nexus of memories, a reservoir of truth. Touch it, and you shall be shown glimpses of that which resides in your unconscious." The allure of the Heartstone was almost magnetic, yet uncertainty crept in again. What truths awaited me? Would I be ready to face them? I hesitated, my heart racing. Fear not, for not all revelations are meant to wound. Some simply illuminate the beauty buried within. The keeper's presence soothed my nervousness, anchoring my resolve. With a deep breath, I stepped forward, placing my palm upon the stone's cool surface. A rush of energy surged through me, a cascade of images flooding my mind, moments that felt both foreign and intimate. Laughter echoed in my ears, the vibrant colors of childhood memories bursting forth like the first blossoms of spring. I saw my younger self dancing in the rain, carefree and unguarded, radiating joy like sunbeams through morning mist. Yet, just as quickly, the scene shifted, shadows swallowed the light, revealing sorrow, loss, and regret. A cherished figure standing at a distance, fading away like a mirage. Tears streaming down my cheeks, the weight of unspoken goodbyes pressing heavily upon my heart. Why? I gasped, pulling away from the hearthstone, overwhelmed by the sudden influx of emotion. Why do these moments haunt me? The keeper shifted closer, its form shimmering with empathy. To unresolved grief, there is power. It rests not just in the pain but in the love that remains. Within every ending, there lies a seed of renewal, waiting for your gaze to awaken it. Your journey is not solely about discovery, it is an invitation to transform the ache into wisdom. That I stared into the clearing, still grappling with the magnitude of what I had witnessed. Could something so profound arise from sorrow? Could the echoes of loss indeed give birth to new light? As I grappled with these questions, I felt a gentle tug, a sign urging me to return to the hearthstone once more. With cautious resolve, I approached, attuning my heart to the rhythm of the stone. Memories swirled like fog, clouds of emotion coalescing into forms once more. But instead of fear, a blossoming compassion filled me, a nurturing warmth that bore witness to my history without judgment. Each experience, each emotion converged, revealing an intricate web of lessons and blessings intertwined. I began to understand I could carry this duality within me, honoring both my light and my shadow. But still, the bigger question lingered: how could I continue this journey toward wholeness without knowing the full extent of what awaited me? Would I discover the balance between embracing the past and stepping into my future? Would I ultimately find the harmony that the forest song whispered of, or would I remain in a constant dance with unanswered questions? As dawn began to break beyond the canopy, casting shimmering rays through the trees, I felt a shift within. The journey was still unfolding, the sacred path remained before me, stretched wide with endless possibility. What truths, hidden in the depths of my soul, awaited their unveiling? And how profoundly would they transform my understanding of who I truly was destined to become? The dawn's light crept tenderly over the horizon, illuminating the intricate patterns etched into the hearthstone, casting them in delicate golds and soft blues. With every breath I took, the air filled with the sweet scent of damp earth, rich and nurturing like a pregnant pause between thoughts. It was a moment suspended in time, where stillness spoke louder than chaos. That I closed my eyes, letting the warmth envelop me, and felt the rhythmic heartbeat of the hearthstone pulse synchronously with the one in my chest. It was as if the forest was alive with a collective breath, each living being cradling its own unvoiced stories waiting to emerge. I sensed a shift in energy, an invitation from the depths of my being, a call to explore further. With renewed intent, I opened my eyes and surveyed the forest. Each shadow seemed to whisper secrets, weaving tales of convergence that transcended mere observation. I turned back toward the trees, the elder keepers watching with ancient knowing, and ventured beyond the clearing, embarking deeper into the woods. As I walked, illuminated shafts of sunlight began to pierce the verdant canopy overhead, igniting the dew-soaked leaves into shimmering diamonds. Nature's beauty coalesced into a symphony of clarity, beckoning me forward. An ethereal hush enveloped all sound, as though the woods themselves held their breath, waiting for my next insight. That I in the distance, a flicker of movement caught my eye, a burst of deep emerald amongst the browns and golds of the forest floor. Curious, I moved closer until I unearthed a tiny, iridescent creature, its wings glistening like stained glass. It hovered momentarily, then darted in a spiraling dance, inviting me to follow. With vibrant energy coursing through me, I chased after the little being. Each flutter led me to hidden alcoves filled with wonder-strange fragrant plants curling their petals toward the sun, ancient trees adorned with vibrant moss like nature's tapestry, and a bubbling brook that sang a melody peculiar to this secret world. I soon found myself at the edge of a glimmering pond, its surface reflecting the sky's azure depths, disturbed only by the occasional ripple of wind. Yet, there was something amiss. An odd stillness resided within this beauty, a palpable expectation that hung like heavy fog. At the pond's center floated a delicate lotus, its blooms still tightly closed that I kneeled at the water's edge, riveted by its unyielding beauty. An overwhelming sense of kinship surged through me, a belief that my path mirrored the lotus, a process of unveiling hidden truths, waiting to bloom with sunlight and nourishment. Questions sprung forth unbidden. Would I too find the capacity to open, to blossom amidst the challenges that lay ahead? Would I dare plunge into the depths of my own subconscious and rise anew from the murky waters of uncertainty? As if answering my silent pleas, the wind whispered, rustling the leaves with tender encouragement. The keeper's voice echoed in my memory, unraveling the mystery woven into this experience. The lotus represents your spirit. Beauty can emerge from the depths of pain and confusion. Dive deep within the waters of your soul, for therein lies the key to your unfolding. Feeling a gentle push from the current, I allowed my reflection to linger upon the surface. The water beckoned, promising revelation. I slipped my fingers into the coolness, stirring up ripples that disrupted my reflection. Each distortion merged parts of me I had yet to fully comprehend, a shadow that danced with my light, past grief melding into budding hope. Reeling from the sudden sensation, I tore my eyes away from the pond and sought refuge on the soil. Questions coiled in my mind like ivy. What depths existed beyond the veil of my consciousness? What treasures lay waiting for me to uncover? As I contemplated the closed lotus and my own unrealized potential, a swirling vision surfaced. Instead of a flower, I saw myriad paths snaking away from the pond's edge, some familiar, others foreign, but all intertwining in surprising ways. Would I have the courage to cross the threshold into the unknown? How did I transmute fear into curiosity? How could I navigate these entwined paths without losing sight of where I began? I breathed deeply, acknowledging that the journey itself was as essential as the destination. With renewed purpose, I stood and turned from the pond, beckoning the future to unveil itself. The heart of the forest throbbed with life, echoing the heartbeat of my own evolution. The quest for wholeness remained before me, shrouded in layers of beauty and enigma, ever unfolding mystery to explore. At that moment, I realized that a sacred truth lay not only within the seeking but also within the unfolding. What luminous revelations might arise as I carried forth this unquenchable curiosity into the world? And as petals unfurl in their own time, when would I finally trust my own inner bloom to cascade forth in all its resplendent glory? With each step I took away from the pond, the forest seemed to respond to my inner stirring, a soft rustling whispering through the leaves, as though the trees themselves were sharing in the unfolding of my journey. The sensation of being cradled by the ancient woodlands reinvigorated my soul, propelling me toward the next revelation. That I wandered further, entranced by the interplay of shadow and light that painted the forest floor with a tapestry of color and texture. The vibrant greens, the earthy browns, and the occasional splashes of wildflower yellows created a mosaic that mirrored the tributaries of my thoughts. In that moment, I became acutely aware of the vibrational resonance echoing within me, harmony of my spirit intermingling with nature's breath. As the sunlight began to wane, casting elongated shadows across my path, I stumbled upon a makeshift circle of stones, intricately arranged as if they held secret gatherings beneath the watchful gaze of the moon. The stones were warm to the touch, radiating an energy that seemed to pulse like the heartbeat of the heartstone. I knelt down, tracing the smooth edges of the rocks with my fingertips, feeling a deeper connection to the earth beneath, a reminder of the cycles of life and the wisdom they carried. There, in that quiet sanctuary, a vision began to unfold like a fragile origami. An image appeared: a great oak tree, wide and gnarled, its branches stretching toward the heavens while its roots plunged deep into the soil. It whispered to me of strength and wisdom, beckoning me to acknowledge the sustenance I received from the groundedness of my own experiences, no matter how tangled they seemed. With every knot in the wood of the tree, there was a story, a history of resilience and growth that reminded me of my own journey. How had I, too, been shaped by the trials and triumphs of my life? What roots had I established, anchoring me in the face of uncertainty? A flicker of a memory ignited within me, a time of adversity when I had felt as fragile as a newly unfurled leaf, only to erupt with newfound clarity and strength. The oak, much like the lotus, bore witness to life's grace amid the chaos. The whispers of the forest began to swirl around me, urging me to close my eyes once more and listen deeply. In the silence that followed, fragments of thoughts trickled in, like leaves floating on a gentle breeze. While the oak had revealed the art of resilience, I began to sense something else stirring a profound longing for reassurance and connection. I was not alone. Suddenly, a soft rustle interrupted my meditation. The sound was gentle yet resonant, drawing my attention to a small gathering of deer, their immense eyes glistening with curiosity. They stood poised at the edge of the clearing, exuding an aura of peace, watching me as if I were a visitor in their sacred domain. With each slow movement, they communicated an unspoken wisdom, inviting me to share in the purity of their existence that I felt a twinge of recognition. In their stillness, they embodied a tranquility I desired, a calm acceptance of the present moment. It reminded me of the power found in being vulnerable and open, acknowledging both fear and wonder. How often had I danced between the extremes of my emotions, striving to find balance but clinging to uncertainty. In that fleeting moment, our gazes locked, and a flood of warmth enveloped me. The connection felt profound, stripping away the layers of self-doubt that had plagued my heart. As they turned to graze, I realized that they lived effortlessly, fully immersed in their truth, a reminder that living authentically meant embracing both my ephemeral joys and devastating fears. What teachings lay hidden in the rustling leaves of the uncertain future? How could I learn to emulate the grace of the deer, free yet grounded, vulnerable yet resilient? I ventured closer to the circle of stones, pondering how their presence had illuminated yet another facet of my spiritual quest, the importance of community and shared journeys in the unfolding of our truths. As twilight began its descent, casting a veil of star-dusted dusks upon the forest, I knew that I stood on the precipice of understanding, yet still surrounded by shadows of unanswered questions. The mysteries of my soul continued to weave their intricate patterns, beckoning me toward more profound revelations. What paths awaited me beyond this embrace of nature and interconnectedness? How could I dance gracefully on the borders of my fears? And when would I fully recognize the beauty that lay not only in the clarity of my truth but also in the complexities of my journey? With those questions echoing gently in my heart, I lifted my gaze to the vastness of the sky, awaiting the answers that night would unveil. The moon hung large and luminous, casting its ethereal light over the stones, the oak, and the woodland, inviting me to trust the unfolding of my own sacred path. The night settled gently around me, each rustle and whispered breeze a note in the symphony of the woodland. With the moon's glow illuminating the circle of stones, I felt the weight of the day linger in the air, thick with possibility. I inhaled deeply, allowing the scent of damp earth and rich moss to anchor me in the moment. Yet, something deep within stirred, a sensation like the distant echo of a song long forgotten, urging me to explore the unseen threads of my existence. As I sat in meditation, the deer had dissolved back into the shadows, leaving me with the pulse of the forest resonating in my core. I closed my eyes again, returning to the vastness of silence, where the universe seemed to take a breath alongside me. The faintest hint of a melody began to weave through the stillness, a soft beckoning I couldn't ignore. I opened my eyes, allowing my intuition to guide me deeper into the woods. The path was uneven, knotty roots tangling underfoot as I ventured further into the unknown. Each step awakened my senses. Crickets chirped in harmony, a distant waterfall murmured secrets, and the canopy above swayed gently, painted in hues of silver and jade. I felt like a character in a story where the forest held not just trees, but the whispers of my ancestors, echoing in the rustling leaves and falling dew. I halted suddenly upon reaching a glen where the moonlight danced playfully upon the water of a small stream. It flowed transparent and bright, as if the very essence of the stars had been poured into its depths. Drawn closer, I knelt beside it, peering into the shimmering surface. My reflection wavered in the current, shifting between the visible and the mysterious. Who was I, truly? The woman who had just emerged from chaos, or the spirit who yearned for wholeness? As I dipped my fingers into the cool water, ripples spread outward, distorting the image that stared back at me. In that moment, I understood life was but a collection of ripples, each choice and moment shaping my path. Each distortion held within it the potential for something beautiful, a reminder that clarity often arises from embracing life's imperfections. Rising from the stream, I turned my attention upstream, a faint glimmer hinting at what lay ahead. Compelled by a pull deep within, I began to walk alongside the water, now resonating with a heightened sense of purpose. Shadows danced in ambivalence, familiar yet elusive, and the cool breeze whispered encouragement. Soon, I encountered an old willow tree, its long branches cascading like veils, shrouding what lay beneath. Approaching it, I felt respect for its steadfastness. How many seasons had it weathered, I wondered. As if sensing my inquiry, the branches swayed, and a familiar warmth encircled me. Beneath the tree, nestled among the roots, lay a collection of feathers light, ethereal, as delicate as dreams. They beckoned to me, each telling a story of freedom, of flight and grace amidst adversity. I held one in my palm, feeling its softness and fragility. In that moment, I perceived the truth: the journey to wholeness was not a linear path, but rather a collection of ethereal moments gathered as lessons. Every feather a reminder of wisdom through experiences and relationships formed over time. As I placed the feather back upon the ground, a sudden gust of wind swept through the glen, swirling the remaining feathers like a dance. The dance, electrifying and full of life, sent a thrill through me. I recognized that just as the feathers took to the wind, I too must be willing to let go, to surrender to the unknown and embrace the myriad possibilities awaiting me. What awaited me beyond the corners of my fears and uncertainties? How could I embody the fluidity of the wind while remaining rooted in the wisdom of my experiences? The stars above bore witness to my musings, twinkling in response to my silent questions. In the gentle embrace of the willow, enveloped by the mysteries of the night, I contemplated the threads of connection that crisscrossed my journey. The profound teachings of resilience from the oak, the tranquility offered by the deer, and now the feathers whispering of freedom, all were invitations to discover the truth hidden within my own soul. As my heart danced between wonderment and inquiry, I closed my eyes once more, listening to the chorus of the night and surrendering to the unfolding of my journey. What deeper revelations lay ahead, waiting to be uncovered within the sacred tapestry of existence? And how might I allow my spirit to soar into the vastness of what it means to be both grounded and free? The night stretched on, wrapping the glen in a shroud of mystery that felt both familiar and profoundly new. The air shimmered with intention as I began to wander from the willow, pondering the lessons that entwined within my spirit. The river, now a softly glimmering companion, continued to weave its way through the darkness beside me, reflecting not just the moonlight, but echoes of my own thoughts, my yearnings, fears, and aspirations. As I walked, the forest seemed to shift and breathe with me, and the path of natural artistry opened like a book, each tree and rock a page waiting to be turned. The distant sound of flowing water transformed into a gentle song, urging me to listen more closely. I followed the melody into a clearing where the night sky stretched infinitely, filled with constellations that twinkled like the eyes of ancient spirits watching over me. In that moment, I felt a jolt of realization as a singular star shone brighter than the rest. As if acknowledging my presence, it pulsed rhythmically, each flicker resonating in my chest. What was this star trying to communicate? I stood still, entranced, wondering if the universe was revealing a secret, a guiding message threaded through time and space. The winds shifted suddenly, carrying faint sound, slaughter, conversation, the spontaneous rhythm of life. Intrigued, I stepped toward the source until I discovered another clearing, bursting with life. Underneath a grand oak tree sat a group of people, clustered around what appeared to be a fire. The flames flickered and danced, casting shadows that mingled with the stars above, creating a tapestry of light and dark. As I approached, the warmth of the fire embraced me. The circle of figures turned, their faces aglow with both excitement and serenity. Each of them seemed to carry their own stories, maps of struggles, triumphs, and awakenings etched on the lines of their skin, reflecting the direct imprint of their journeys. They welcomed me quietly, as if they had been expecting me, inviting me into their circle with unspoken words that transcended the need for dialogue. An elder among them, her silver hair woven with flowers, motioned for me to sit. She bore a serene authority, her eyes deep as the forest's heart. "We gather here not just to share stories," she began, her voice like a gentle stream, "but to weave them into the fabric of our existence." I felt a stirring, a sense of being part of something larger. Each person shared their tale, of loss that became healing, of isolation leading to community, of journeys that twisted yet brought clarity. With each testimony, I felt pieces of my own story resonate within theirs, a symphony of experience transcending individuality. It dawned on me, my journey toward wholeness was not a solitary pursuit, but rather a collective weaving among countless souls. As the fire crackled, bringing memories to life, I too felt an overwhelming urge rising within. What was my story? What line would I contribute to this vibrant tapestry? I took a deep breath, releasing the echoes of doubt and fear that threatened to silence me. When my turn came, I began to share my journey, my struggles, my fears, and the pull toward the unknown that had led me here. With each word, I felt the gentle pulse of understanding from the gathering, their nods and smiles weaving encouragement around my spirit. Yet, as I spoke, an underlying question remained: was this the entirety of my story, or merely a chapter paving the way for deeper truths? As my voice faded into the ambience of the forest, the elder leaned closer, her eyes glistening like crystals. "Every story is but a fragment of the truth," she whispered. "Seek not to define yourself by what has been, but rather allow the questions to lead you where answers lie unyielding in mystery." Her words sparked an awakening, a flicker of curiosity restirring in my heart. What were the questions I had yet to ask? What truths lay hidden, waiting patiently within the depths of my soul? The night deepened around us, and I felt the fragile connections among our stories weaving tighter, enveloping me in a sense of belonging. I realized that just as the willow danced in the wind and the feathers soared, I too had the potential to grow beyond my fears, to uncover and embrace the myriad possibilities awaiting me. As I sat there, surrounded by kindred spirits under the vast cosmic tapestry, one question lingered above all others: what would it take for me to fully embrace the essence of who I am becoming, to weave my tale not with restraint, but with the exuberance of infinite potential? And in this journey towards wholeness, what hidden truths awaited me in the shadows, yearning to be unveiled? The flickering firelight began to settle into a rhythmic glow, casting soft shadows that danced across the faces surrounding it. As I absorbed their stories, a gentle hum of understanding lingered in the air, enveloping us in a united pulse. The elder, sensing a shared moment of introspection, closed her eyes and breathed deeply, as if inviting us all into a collective meditation. "Listen to the whispers of the night," she instructed, her voice a melodic echo that pierced the veil of silence. "Let the forest reveal what has yet to be known." I closed my eyes, allowing the sounds of the forest to envelop me: rustling leaves, the distant hoot of an owl, the gentle gurgle of the stream nearby. In that cocoon of stillness, I felt my heart open, reaching toward the auras of those around me as if their stories were threads pulling at the very fabric of my being. I surrendered to the moment, praying for insights to unravel the mysteries pressing against my soul. Gradually, a new sound emerged, a faint chime that seemed to resonate from beyond. It nudged me, awakening a buried part of myself that yearned to be recognized. I opened my eyes, scanning the clearing for the source of the melody. The others, too, were captivated, their collective curiosity transcending the boundaries of our individual experiences. "That we must follow the sound," a voice exclaimed, breaking the quietude like a ripple on a still pond. Guided by an invisible force, we rose from our seated circle, hearts thrumming in synchronization. The elder took the lead, her presence steady and grounding, while I followed closely behind, feeling an inexplicable connection to her wisdom. It was as if the sound was calling, wrapping around us, urging us to brave the unknown ahead. That we traversed deeper into the heart of the forest, our footsteps silent on the carpet of leaves. With each step, the melody grew clearer, weaving through the trees like a silken thread, guiding us along a path veiled in shadows. My senses heightened, I felt the cool night air, sweet with the scent of pine, the earth firm beneath my feet, and the thrumming of life that pulsated all around us, a reminder of the interconnectedness I had recently begun to understand. As we reached a glade bathed in moonlight, the melody culminated into an ecstatic crescendo, an enchanting symphony that reverberated through the air like a blessing. At the center, a waterfall cascaded into a crystalline pool, illuminated by the silvery glow of the moon, lending a magical aura to the scene. The group gathered mesmerized, drawn toward the flowing water that shimmered with an ethereal brilliance. The elder stepped forward, gazing into the depths of the pool, her expression serene yet filled with anticipation. "This is the water of reflection," she revealed. It has the power to unveil the hidden truths that reside within. Intrigued and a little apprehensive, I stepped towards the water's edge, my reflection merging with the starry sky above. What truths lay beneath the surface? I could feel my heart race, a mix of eagerness and trepidation coursing through me as I knelt, cupping my hands to gather the cool liquid. I brought it to my lips, letting it spill across my tongue, a taste of clarity, an invitation to unearth the shadows of my being. The water shimmered brighter, illuminating thoughts and memories deeply lodged in the crevices of my mind. Visions floated before me, faded dreams, unspoken fears, lost connections, each fragment urging to be recognized. I saw moments where I had wavered in faith, where self-doubt overshadowed the brilliance of possibility. Suddenly a vivid image emerged, of a place I had long forgotten, an ancient garden where I once played as a child, vibrant and alive. It was there that I learned to dream, to imagine the capacity of my spirit unrestrained. But as laughter faded into maturity, so too did the brightness of those childhood fantasies diminish, surrendered instead to the realities of expectation. Tears fell unbidden, mingling with the reflecting waters as the realization washed over me. Had I let the pulse of ambition, the call of duty, silence the joyous echoes of my youth? I turned to the elder, seeking guidance as the weight of the mirror's gift settled upon my heart. Life is a cycle, she said gently, her eyes full of understanding. We often forget the source of our inspiration, lose sight of our inner child. Remember, it is your dreams that carry the seeds of your truth. Do not shy away from embracing them again, allow them to flourish. As the melodies drifted into quieter refrains, I pondered her wisdom. What disallowed me from journeying back to that vibrant garden within? What steps would I need to take to nurture those dreams that called for revival after years of neglect? The fire's warmth and the collective support surrounding me anchored me, grounding my resolve to explore these questions fully. As I departed from the encircling pool, something became increasingly clear within. My journey was far from over, still unfolding like the leaves of a tree reaching for the sun. New possibilities awaited, truths entangled in the rhythm of life, glimmers of potential yet to be revealed. With each gathering step toward the familiar clearing, one question lingered: how would I reconnect with my forgotten dreams, and what might I discover about myself as I dared to dance once more with the essence of play and creativity? The encounter by the water of reflection lingered like a gentle afterthought. The elder's words persisted, echoing in the quiet recesses of my heart. I felt a transformation brewing within me, an awakening of sorts, as I joined the circle once more under the shelter of the grand oak. Surrounded by my newfound companions, the captivating rhythm of shared stories and experiences cradled me in warmth, unearthing profound connections that transcended the boundaries of our individual paths. The flickering firelight cast inviting shadows that danced like old friends, echoing the laughter and comfort that blossomed among us. We were each threads in a vibrant tapestry woven through shared fears, dreams, and wisdom. We had all come from different corners of existence but converged in this sacred union of vulnerability and understanding. As the elder invited us to share our insights, a gentle hum reverberated within me. What were the dreams buried under layers of expectation and doubt? How could I revive that playful spirit of my youth, the laughter and wonder that once flooded my days? An exhilarating energy surged through me as I realized what I needed to do. I needed to reclaim those lost colors of my soul, to paint anew with the very essence of joy that had become muted over time. With an unsteady heart, I stood up and took a breath, the collective gaze of understanding urging me to unveil the gems hidden beneath the surface of my being. When I was young, I used to dream of adventure, I began, my voice barely a whisper against the crackling fire. I envisioned exploring enchanted lands, where magic wove through every breath of air and every flicker of light. But somewhere along the way, I buried those dreams beneath layers of fear and doubt, trappings of adulthood that seemed safer, yet confining. I paused to catch my breath, the memories racing forward. I believed I had to fit into a mold prescribed by the expectations of others. And in doing so, I lost a piece of my spirit, a piece that once soared freely. As I let vulnerability wash over me, I saw nods of recognition ripple through the circle. We were all entwined in the delicate dance of growth. With renewed courage, I continued, but today, standing here among you, I remember that spirit, the child within me who danced with abandon in the rain and spun stories that only the universe could understand. I choose to honor that spirit and seek the adventure once again. I dare to believe in the magic of my potential. I dare to return to the garden. A gentle silence enveloped the gathering, each soul reflecting on the role of dreams in personal journeys. It felt akin to catching fireflies on a summer evening, fleeting, brilliant, and utterly essential. As I soaked in the depth of this understanding, I knew the beauty lay not solely in the dream itself but in the courage it took to embrace it. The elder smiled, her eyes shining with the familiar warmth of a guiding star. Each of us carries dreams woven with purpose. In nurturing them, we honor the expressions of our souls. Her words echoed beautifully with the truth that resonated within me. As the fire danced in the dark, I sensed the shadows weaving new stories from the threads of laughter and light. The dreams that once felt distant and unattainable now glimmered close enough to touch. In that sacred space, I made a silent vow to honor the playfulness of my spirit, to dance once more in the rain, to explore uncharted territories of joy, and to embrace whimsy as an integral part of my journey to wholeness. As our shared stories flowed, each participant unveiled their own awakening recognition of loss, the blend of shadows and light that shaped their lives, and the spark of courage illuminating their paths. I witnessed a profound tension transform into a magical communion, where vulnerability unleashed healing torrents, and dreams hidden for too long began to emerge from the backdrop, awakening vibrancy and purpose within each soul gathered under the moonlit sky. The moment hung suspended, imbued with deeper truths that resonated in my core. I realized that we are not hierarchies of light and dark but rather intricate fabric woven into the universal tapestry of existence, where every shred of experience, hardship, and triumph can resonate harmoniously, culminating in the beauty of who we are becoming. The evening drifted toward its conclusion, yet our spirits swelled with the promise of what awaited us. As I lay my head down to rest that night, cocooned in the whispers of the forest and the warmth of newfound kinship, I felt a sense of completion wash over me. I understood that the journey toward wholeness was not a finish line to cross but an ongoing symphony of discovery and integration, an endless dance with both light and shadow. Within this understanding arose an unexpected yet profound realization: every moment, every encounter, every adventure contributes to the masterpiece of our existence. I drifted into slumber with the knowledge that the forest of my soul continued to call forth myriad truths, weaving tales transcending myriad paths. With each heart that joins this journey, we step closer to collective awakening, to liberation, to embracing the sacred tapestry of our humanity. As I fell into a state of serene dreams, a single thought lingered like a gentle echo through the corridors of my mind: the path to wholeness exists not in the exploration of the light alone, but in the profound embrace of every shadow that seeks to be unveiled. And with this understanding, the universe whispered back a timeless truth: we are all a symphony of fragments harmonizing into a collective awakening, and our stories are the keys that unlock the hidden truths of our souls.